Wherever you are in the world, hello. We're going to be continuing on with some of our oil pastel work, and this is pastel paper. So, just finished this project this afternoon, and I'm going to pull this off because I like to separate my oil pastels because I don't like them to get messed up by just leaving them inside a notebook. Here's another piece I did last week as a project. This is just some randomness. And these are 9x12 papers. These are 9x12, but I thought these are bigger. And then here's another one. This is a really fun piece. So I did this outdoors and just went piece by piece. I constantly changed my position when I was out there. So I didn't really get to get one cohesive photo. Although I think I did a pretty good job of taking it all and putting it into like a cohesive little story. I'm not sure what's... Oh, yeah, it's an umbrella. So anyway, a bunch of different things here, put pieces together. Really love the potential of oil pastel. This is a very... oil pastels create some very vibrant colors. So let's go ahead and put this away for now, these papers. And we're going to start on a totally new project. Start on a totally new project here. And we're going to go with this piece right here. And trying to decide what exactly I want to do now. I think it's pretty standard, either flowers or portrait or portraits of people. So I'm thinking what I might do is go on Facebook and... Where's my keyboard? Oh, here we go. Go on Facebook and just pull images of random friends or random followers. Whoever pops up on my feed, I'll pretty much do a little portrait of. So, first, let's get some of these open, shall we? I can imagine the more oil pastels you have, the more difficult it gets to manage all of them, especially if they fall on the floor. That's got to be probably one of the most annoying things. Because paint comes in tubes, and oil pastels break easily. And I can only imagine pens, pen, you're working with like one or two pens at a time, so if you drop one, it's not a big deal. But anything in like a crayon format, like an oil pastel, I'm sure could get really annoying if you draw them. So I'm gonna start with one. I'm gonna start with one here. One random friend. Oh, I can't move this video. Huh. Let's replay this video here. I want to find just the right moment in this video. All right, so I've got the portrait here, and I'm just pulling up random friends on Facebook. Part of me is like, you know what I should do? I should just draw celebrities, because everybody knows celebrities. There's always a fan base. And, part of me wants to do that, but then part of me is also like, you know what? There's so many portraits and things of celebrities that... And I'm sure they, any celebrity appreciates anything that's made of them, but, I know so many wonderful people that I think they should be drawn, but, they may or may not for whatever reason. And you know what would be interesting, though, is I think that a celebrity probably, at least outwardly, would appreciate an artwork that you handed them more than a random friend. But that said... because artists are gonna like love art, right? Like it's just a thing. Like artists just like art. But if you look for a random person and you do a portrait of them, I got a kick out of it. Unless they pay you for it, then people like that. But if you just do it randomly, you're like, oh, okay, cool, thanks. But anyway, that's a little rant about drawing celebrities because you're gonna get views on those things versus like doing your own friends. And anyway, the social media algorithm. So let's get started. I'm going to start with a central random figure, and by central random figure, I'm probably going to put her in a corner, and we're just going to start sketching this out with the brown for hair, and just a little bit too wide here. Just sketching out here. And just using oil pastels. These are really like thick and clunky devices to use. So, you do have to be somewhat considerate of this medium. I don't think it's an easy medium to kind of just like jump into, just because of how clunky it is. But I do like the challenge of trying to make something nice from something clunky. So we're gonna go ahead and start to work in some of our lighter colors here, our pinks and our reds. I'm lucky I have this like skin tone pink, but I don't want to like depend too much on it. So I don't really want to depend too much on my reddish pink for color. So we're gonna go with a variety of colors. I'm really gonna try to highlight a variety of colors on a person's face, and here we go. Get the gist, and let's see how we can really make this work. Oil pastels, something a little different. Oil pastels can be difficult to work with because of how chunky they are. But you know what? I actually like the challenge of that. So here we go. You're not my boss. And here we go. So anybody ever work out with oil pastels before, feel free to share in the comments. This is a live stream, not a pre-recorded recording. I'm definitely available here to help you connect with your tribe. And by your tribe, I mean your tribe of artists, creator friends. So, for whatever reason, we have all connected here somehow and found our way to each other on this planet of billions and billions of people. And you've taken the time to come here to check this out. So say hello if it makes you happy. And playing with a variety of colors, really want to push the boundaries of color with oil pastels. That's one of my goals here. And when I say push the boundaries, I mean, really explore the color possibilities. I found that's one of the benefits of working with oil pastel, is this idea that you can really get a lot of, you really have to do things differently than when you work with like a pen or pencil or even paint, because paint, you've got all sorts of different brushes. You get really fine with the detail, or you can get really fine with details with paints. But when it comes to oil pastel, that kind of gentleness somewhat goes out the window. You really have to learn with the clunkiness, or you have to learn to like work with it in different ways, which that's a whole different story. But I really like to work with oil pastels mostly as they are. Mostly as they are rather than, I guess, who really defines how you work with them as they are. But, I like to work with them in just this exact form that they came in and see where I can go from there. But as far as oil pastels go, I got 4 brands with me right now. I got Paul Rubens, which is a Chinese brand. T Dot, what's going on? What's up, D? T Dot, good to see you. Working with some oil pastel sketches right now. I finished that pen project, and I really just wanted to make use of some of these oil pastels. So just doing something, starting something off right now. Came in at a good time, just the beginning. Finally finished that pen project. I don't know if you were here. And see, still, but yeah, hey, that's cool. No worries. You got to take care of your people, T Dot. So no worries. No worries. You take care of yourself. I figured something happened. Everyone's got priorities and stuff. So no worries there. You are still totally welcome to come in here. When I was a kid, even though my favorite store is like Pet Supermarket, I would go there like every day, and I couldn't buy anything because I was a kid. I mean, I guess I could have bought some, but I didn't have pets, at that time. So I really had no reason to buy it, but I would go there every day, And I know that's like, but it was, they welcomed me and it was good times. So yeah, I totally get it. Don't worry about it. Hope you get her something nice, because here's the also funny thing is, so my girlfriend, her daughter, once said that she liked owls, and for whatever reason, from that point on, people always got her gifts with owls, but she couldn't stand it because she said at one time that she liked owls, and then people just got her tons of gifts from owls, and I thought that was amusing because when I think of someone's like, oh, my my significant other likes this or that, so I'm gonna get her this. Unless they specifically state that's what they want, I find it an interesting thing of having this situation where this person constantly gets the same gift from dozens and dozens of people because they said they liked it like one time. Which I'm sure that's not the case for you, but just throwing that story out there. So let's see. What am I working on? Frenchie, is that my pet bird? Oh, is this a bird? No, this is not a bird. This is a pastel portrait of a random friend that I'm working on right now. So no, it's not a bird. You can see closer. I'm still building out the features. But I'm also pushing the boundaries by using different colors on the skin, because I don't like to always use the same exact colors that I see. I like to like really experiment with the variety of colors. And this is really my first time drawing small portraits with pastels. So something tells me these aren't going to come out very good. But at the end of the day, I don't think, honestly, I don't think pastels are made for like small details. It's really made for colors. Like a variety of colors and markings. So we're gonna go with a darker red. Actually, let's go with this red pastel. We're gonna go with a red metallic. So that's what I'm working on, Frenchie. Welcome. Hello. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you for saying hello. It's good to see you. T. Sammy Girl come up is a regular here. So Really, really happy to chat with y'all about all things creative, artistic, etc., etc. So let's get these lips here. And honestly, I could see that the turn out on this. That's the one kid's art you'll never even try. Is what, oil pastel? Oil pastel or what? The one kind of art you'll never try. I didn't quite get what you meant by that. I think sometimes I lose the context of what's being said because I'm so focused on other things that I can totally forget what was just being discussed. So, anyway. Some people call that getting old, but I call it just forgetting. So here we go. We're going to do a little bit of a neck body portion here. Really have to see the art be by hand. You really, yeah. What do you mean you have to see the art by hand? I'm kind of confused as to what you're saying here. And I think the part of this has to do with the quality of materials, because what I find myself doing is these pastels, the fine quality pastels, as opposed to the professional art quality pastels, is I keep drawing and it just kind of keeps scraping away at the artwork that I'm doing. So really trying to figure out how to work with that, or whether maybe I'm not gonna ever figure that out.
Oh, it's Megan. Oh, sorry.
So anyway. Worth it to invest in more expensive pastels if you want to do fine detail things. But this is horrible, so I'm gonna have to do something to this at one point. So one kid's art. You really have to see art beforehand, yeah. So what you're saying is pastel is the one art that you won't try because it's too hard. You have to see the picture, whatever you're drawing, before you even start. Yeah. I don't know how to describe it, but look at how bad this is. That, like, what is this thing, right? Like, what is this? I would have to do these. This is definitely not a fine portrait, right? But we can keep going and see how this advances. Let's go. Maybe I can make it look nice. I should have that belief rather than, let's see how we can turn this into something much more much more interesting. It's just the colors don't blend well together. So I have to deal with that. Let's see what we can do. Maybe we could take one of these brushes and smudge things around. Soften some of these details here. let's go. So I might have to change this up a bit. So I'm not liking how it just gets, it's just such a like thick thing, but maybe we'll push it through and we'll find greatness at the other end. Push through this and find beauty on the other side. That's the hope, at least. We'll use some green. Actually, let's start our next portrait. Maybe we'll have better luck with another one. Let's do this other one. And we're gonna knock out some red hair. And let's push. So you're a fan of One Piece? T-Dot, obviously. So One Piece, I keep getting One Piece confused with a One Punch. It says a character called One Punch, and there's a character called One Piece, right? I'm almost inclined to just throw out these like really cheap pastels because they're very difficult to work with. And they don't blend well. They're good at like carving out stuff and like going around the edges and really carving out a piece, but they're so bad at nicer details. But maybe you just have to work a little differently. So that's the best there, still good still. Maybe try sharpening it. Yeah, I could sharpen it. Definitely could sharpen it, but I don't know. We'll continue pushing these as they are and see what we can come up with. We'll add some darker purples to this. And let's go into the hair here. That's one thing I also figured with painting too. When I got into painting small is really hard. But once you start to go big, it's like things really start to get easier. Things really are easier when you start to go bigger. So I want to find like a nice color that's subtle, but I don't want to keep using the same exact colors. I really like to like change things up a bit. So we're gonna go with a blue. A blue on red here. And we're gonna go with the light blue. And let's see, try sharpening. That's the one thing though, is sharpening it gets so messy. So I may just keep it unsharpened and just work from there. But again, maintaining as far as like quality of goes, you can really start to see the difference, not because of the color or the pigment, but because of how things come off of, how it comes off. The paints themselves come off. Okay, so we got some shadow here. Let's go with some dark. Actually, we're gonna go with the red, this like red for the eyes here. So I'll share a little bit about what's going on in a few. No, this is not working. Let's see. Here we go. And let's go with these red lips here. And let's see, what time is it there? It's 9:46 in Canada. So I'm on the West Coast in California. So 6:49. So 6, 7, 8, 9. 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, so you're all the way on the East Coast, huh? And let's go here.
Don't just sit there staring at me. Tell me why.
So what do you got going on? It's Wednesday. You got school in the morning? School in Canada? Is that what you got to do tomorrow? What's your normal bedtime or whatever they call it nowadays? What they got a bedtime?
We betrayed everyone alive. Everyone is going to be born. For what? So that aliens who think we're bugs can come here and kill us all.
Aliens that think we're bugs. Sounds like a good show. Aliens that think we're bugs. I would probably actually like this show, but
It's absolutely wrong.
I was willing to risk anything. I saw the path we were on. I saw what it meant. I. Who gave you the right to decide for all of us?
who gave you the right to decide?
Darren always said you were a great physicist, but that's not how you really knew it. How are you? I'm sorry for that.
Really got to get used to the idea that these are not fine points. And that could be a little bit harder than just saying it because if you just come out from a drawing project, a heavy drawing project, you'll find that it's not as easily achieved. So I really don't even know what these brushes are for. I've been trying to use them and figure them out, but I think what I'm doing is probably drawing too small. So let's go for a big photo. Get a portrait of a random person and do a bigger painting here. Do a bigger photo. Maybe if I go bigger, some of these problems will be solved. But what's happening right here is not really working for me right now. And probably most of it is my fault too. Like I'm not actually spending enough time on the shadow and the colored areas. So let's look up. Let's go with an orange here. Orange for our outline.
Focusing on a single target will keep the other sort of one going in concert. That's a huge hospital center.
There you go. You're working with me already. I'm launching a concept to set this up to you. The engineers that never thought of what's accomplished in the world would say that with feasibility, everything's open, nothing is possible.
And we'll push around into our colored space here as we go into the hair. I don't know why I want to like spend so much time on color oil pastels. Like just there's this thing that draws me to this idea that they're not easy as far as, you know, getting the exact thing that you want. So I'm picking like random people that I know on Facebook and then just doing sketches of them. Just doing random sketches of people on Facebook. So that's what I'm working on now. That's the current project. But the thing is, I don't want to use... Yeah, brush pens are good too. I can draw already. So, I mean, you know, you can always improve and get better. But I don't know. I feel like I already have the gist of drawing. And, you know, it's just a matter of just spending more time on it. But, you know, oil pastels feels like a worthy challenge to tackle. And finding just the right thing to draw an oil pastel with. And I think oil pastels are incredibly beautiful. Like when you can do it right, you know, the vibrant colors and everything, if you could do it right, it looks really good. And I really like that that challenge. Plus I needed a medium to do on paper. I need a good paper medium. And here we go. So we're gonna go down about the length of the hair and go down like right here. And we're gonna go
I mean to use our nuclear weapons. A spaceship filled with atomic bombs.
What's a good color that goes with pink? Probably like a green, right? Let's go with a green.
But as you can see on page 5, bombs won't be on the board. Appropriate stuff and material maximum how exactly you use it on page 5.
Let's go play with some yellows across this head here. And let's go like so.
Now these bombs can be put in place using existing spacecraft. The probe will have a mass of under 1,000 kilograms.
And I'll share with a little update here in a few moments. But Sam, you working on anything creative? What's up? Tell us about your day. How's it going? I can only talk for so many hours. So I streamed earlier for like 2 hours, just going on and on. So right here helps to have people around, because then you can pawn off some of the talking and conversation to other people. Definitely a skill that you have to learn to build here. And I think those YouTubers that are good at, like, you know, streamers, the ones that are good at it succeed. It's just a thing, you know. They succeed. They do well. Smell some cigarette smoke coming from outside.
I think it's worth a pursuit. The closer we get to them, the more we get. It's the first proposal I've heard to get us to 1% in our lifetimes, and I have no intention of joining my agency.
So you came back from Toronto the weekend and you're trying to learn how to polish. Oh yeah, you mean like polishing your pens and stuff? I do remember you saying you're working on that. They've acquired ownership rights of stars. Wow.
Fundraiser for the war effort. Bake sale for billionaires. You can make donations and somehow when it catch up to the little green men who put a giant arms there. Just sit there and so on. You know, some people worship in the area or something.
The one thing about oil pastels is, I mean, there's a lot of things about oil pastels, but what you'll find or what you'll discover is that there's a lot of like pure colors. You know, you get the stick in a pure color, but there's not that many lighter shades of those colors, unless I guess you have to like buy them separately. I don't know, but let's go here like this. So I'm using all my fancy pastels because they work better together. So it's your youngest sister's birthday. She's 2 hours away. So it's a good time. Hey, happy times. Working on a new face now. Building it out. And we'll see how it goes. So I'm going to work some of the hairs with a dark blue. It's nice when you can work with the same pastel brand because I think it makes a bit more sense that way. Let's go here. Gonna paint in some color around the nose.
Alexa, what's the temperature outside?
Right now, it's 63 degrees Fahrenheit. Tonight, expect a low of 51 degrees.
And let's go with some other pastels. So what did I do for the weekend? What did we do for the weekend? We met up with a friend, a random new friend, and that was one day. We went to this place in Los Angeles called the Grove. It's a place in Los Angeles called the Grove, and it's like this really nice outdoor mall. And some other days I pretty much just chilled. I definitely did not do as much art this weekend. And yeah, if you ever visit Los Angeles, a great place to to go is this place called the Grove. Oh, you heard about the Grove on TV? That's cool. I didn't know it was like a TV place. I just thought it was a just a random. It's like, you know, I guess I take things for granted in Los Angeles because there's so many like famous places here that, you know, you don't realize that there's other places of the world that literally like talk about these places as like vacation destinations and stuff. I'm realizing there's definitely a catch with oil pastels. So working with these faces, going with a variety of colors, these heads, there's definitely a catch with oil pastels. It's, you know, if you use low quality pastels, I keep saying low quality. If you use fine quality pastels, which is not the super super extra luxury professional quality pastels, they don't work that well. Like they won't necessarily do the things you want to do. But if you pay a lot more, you don't really get to start with them. You really have to like jump in and jump straight into the mindset of a professional artist. And here we go, just going to build in some details here. What is really special about oil pastels, you get a really like expressive painterly quality real quickly that is much harder to find with other materials. Get a very expressive quality if you can make it work for you. But it can be hard. It can be hard to like reach that point of like expressive qualityness. So anyway, I'm actually happy with how this bigger head turned out. Biddy Carmi Jones, how does it look? So I'm not happy with these two, but I am pretty happy with how this one came out. It looks, the colors. I like how I was able to mess around with the colors and explore a variety of colors on a face. I'm pretty happy with how that one came out. It's not exact, but at the end of the day, that wasn't exactly what I'm going for. It's very painterly non-standard look, and I'm wondering if something similar can be done to these other faces, but I just don't think that oil pastels are made for fine quality work. You just really gotta like go out and be super aggressive with the colors here. All right, later. You okay?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Huh?
Taking a walk.
Taking a hike?
No.
Oh. All right, let's find another person to do a add to this portrait. I'd offer to do one of your quick portraits, those of you watching right now, but I can't open a photo of any of you easily. Maybe next time. I think T-Dot, did you add me on Instagram? I don't think you added me on Instagram, T-Dot. I think it was somebody else, but so we're gonna continue this, and let's see. Let's add some yellow lights in between these two. Yeah, it's definitely an expressive quality. Gotta take me to the car now? I don't know what you mean by that. All right, let's go with a new portrait here. We're gonna start with like some dark purple for the hair. And you know what? Let me use one of my other colors. We're gonna paint this a bit bigger of a portrait. And we're gonna go and there we go. So we've got some hair here. Sketching out the hair area. Once we got this, we'll push into it with light yellow. Keep up the good work, King. Appreciate your MH. How you doing? You all right? What's MH stand for? Mr. Horatio. We'll definitely keep this work up. Always. That's the goal. Add a little bit of pink. Don't want to use pink. If I use yellow there, I want to use some purple on the inside. Explore the possibilities of color by not using the color that I see. That's something I've been wanting to challenge myself with as far as art goes. But it can be hard, you know, because you see one thing and you really have to like figure out how to interpret it. You really have to figure out how to interpret it. So I'm going to use a light yellow as like the background here for the face. And let's just design this entire face here. So we're going to go like that. And then subtle cheek that comes out. The forehead is going to be, the cheek's almost the same size as the forehead here. So doing the outline with the forehead, and then so you're an artist too, MH? Thank you about the hair. Appreciate you. I guess we're all artists in some way, right? In our lives, in some form or fashion. We are all artists. And we're going to go push some of these lighter colors around on the edges here. And I guess this blue and yellow end up making a green. Let's mix some of this blue with the with all this other stuff. Hair looks amazing. Cool, cool. Thank you. And bringing back our Prussian blue. Is this the Prussian blue? Which one's the Prussian blue? Prussian blue. Here we go. We're going to get our Prussian blue and make sure that we get this hair nicely settled in. Use this to really carve our face shape. And here we go. I like when people pop in and call you king. Isn't that nice? It's kind of cool. People just pop in and say, hey, what's up, king? You know a kid in high school whose last name was King? Mr. King. All right, let's see. If we're gonna do a blue yellow face, so yellow and red, the opposite colors of that would be yellow, red, orange, yellow, purple, and instead of yellow and red, I'm going to use purple and blue. You know what I should do? Just take this photo and like reverse the colors so I don't have to try to interpret it. But whatever, we're going to go with it. If I'm using yellow, let me just create the entire base layer. Entire base layer of yellow here. Where's that color? Here we go. All right, got our base yellow. The ear's going to drop down a bit further than the other one. And now let's go with bring in some lips. If the lips are red, instead of that, I'll do some green lips. Actually, go with a light purple lipstick. So I'm going to go with a purple. That should happen. That should definitely happen more often. Just like popping into random people's rooms, or people's live rooms, and just say, "Hey, what's up, King? What's up, Queen? How you doing?" And here's the other question. Here's a deeper philosophical question. When someone does that, if you feel good about it, is it ego? Is it egotistical to like feel good about that because like, hey, someone's calling you king? There's some food for thought there, some philosophical thought. And here we go. Definitely gonna work in some of these purples and shadows. Throw in these green eyes. And let's tighten up this space with a little bit of a purple skin. Some off blue, purple, however this goes. And we're going to darken. Let's darken some of this. We use our Sennelier pastel and just add a little bit of a darker. Darken this piece right here. Add some highlights to the cheek. Let's keep pushing. We're going to go in with our red a little bit more heavily here. Show some progress in a moment, but little warning. Let's see what we can do. So this is the second face, and it went horribly wrong with oil pastels. The bottom face has gone horribly wrong, so I've decided to totally turn it into something else. And let's see what I can do. Maybe I can carve it in some way, blend it in some way. Scoop it down in some way. Use some of these tools that I've got. It's a horrible, horrible portrait. It's not even a portrait. It's just a mess, really. All right. Well, it's like someone threw putty on this. Like this one just did not go the way I wanted. Maybe if I just throw in some dark eyebrows, it'll make it look enough like a face that let's just see. Let's just keep going with it. Push it just a little bit further. And that might be just enough to give it equality. So let's go like this. All right, there's a little bit of a rescue here. So I'm used to when I work with paint, you can constantly like work and rework an area, but with pastels, once you lay it down, you're pretty much have to work with those colors that are around there. throw a little bit of some white highlights onto this thing. And some highlights into this part of the head. Some highlight here. Darken some of the area around the hair. I want to blame it on materials so badly, but I have good materials. It's just I want to use some of the 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 fine quality pastels that I have instead of my artist quality pastels. Let's go ahead and do some work with our white here and go around, and maybe we can add some highlight back into this. I'm going to carve this back out again. Let's bring in our Prussian blue, and we're going to just carve into the face here. Give it some subtle shadow around the neck here. I think we saved it a bit. I can actually leave it like this, but I'm not happy with that. I probably got to do, you know what? Maybe I can do a little bit more blending. I feel like as far as saving it goes, I'd have to scrape off like everything. But I feel like as far as creating like an expressive drawing, I can actually save it in that sense to give it, you know, some unique qualities, some unique artist qualities. I just have to not leave it with all the marks. I don't think that did much, but we're gonna call it a wrap on that part. Going with the blue face. I don't know what I was thinking. So let's see what else. Let me grab some baby wipes here, clean off my hands and start anew. Okay. Ah. What to do? Part of me wants to keep working on this one to really get it. Let's see. What should I go for? We'll try something. Got to reorganize my materials here. Left our purple. So let's reorganize our materials and let's see what we can do in here, what we can possibly save. How we can possibly save any of this. So using a bit of our gold, just like a gold color. Paint over this blue here. Or I should say color over it. Sennelier to save the day. I can already see this turning out pretty good, actually. Sennelier colors to save the day. Just soft enough to glide pretty much over anything. To glide pretty much over any oil pastel. With a vibrant enough color that you feel like the colors are just vibrant enough that it's like, wow, these colors are amazing. How does one achieve such amazing colors? And the secret is just the brand. Like the brand alone just has these incredibly high quality colors for you to work with. We're going to go highlight with the white here. And let's see if it's possible. Am I saving this? We'll find out in a few moments. Is this savable compared to what it just was? And I think yes. I think it's a possibility that this will look better than it was a few moments ago. I like how the professional artist colors have like, you could pull them off in layers. So you don't have to pull all the colors off at once. Oh my goodness, these Sennelier colors are just amazing. And right now I just got to finish off this nose. Let's work on this nose here. How's the walk? Good?
Yeah.
Better than usual?
About the same.
About the same?
It's your streaming.
Good. My drawings need a little, or my sketches need a little saving, but I think I was able to save it. You know what? We'll go with the green eye here.
Eat some food, Fern.
All right, you know what? I think that did the job of making it look less like a bunch of smushed up colors. And although, you know, I'm not going to say I don't really, you know, think I did that great of a job on the bottom. I do like I do like this better than it was. So we're actually going to leave this at that. We're going to keep the interesting green eyes and keep the blue pastel along the side, but we're going to move on to a different head now. I do feel like it was rescued. The hardest part I'm finding with oil pastels is adding colors piece by piece, because with oil pastels you can't really, you can't be layering the same way that you do with paints, at least, you know, just from what I'm experiencing. And especially if, you know, your pastels are of different varying qualities, ranging from fine to fine to very good quality, professional artist quality. So if they range too much, they all work in different ways. So all right, here we go. Next one. Let's go like this. So we're going to start with a let's go with a pink. And we're going to go pink. Sketching out the face right now. Very long face. Very long, expressive face on this woman. But also the angle has even just, you know, the tiniest bit of an effect. Of course. It just goes right around the eye, up until the eye, and then we're going to get a little bit of an ear here. So starting off pretty good. Let's get a bit of our hair. And right around here. Okay. And we are moving along. With every piece, I think it's important that you do try to learn from the previous. Otherwise, can you really be improving? So, I'm trying to think of what I can learn from the last one. Let's see. What should I learn? Is that not to layer the colors. Not to layer the colors so quickly, but to maybe go piece by piece, section by section. And that is where you'll end up pulling the beauty out of an oil pastel, is through the layering of colors. But I still gotta get the sketch done. So I still want to use certain colors. Let's see. I'm gonna go. We'll carve the shape a little better later. But we're going to continue with some of our colors right here. And let's keep going here. I think this one's going to turn out a little better than the rest. So let's go like so, bringing in a pink. I'm going to come down here. Add a bit of blue down here. Let's go with this. I'm gonna get some of the eyes right now. Excuse me. And bringing out this black again. These sides are definitely way too big, so we're gonna push them up a bit. And let's go with the nose here. Get a bit of a shape of nose. We'll go into the face with purple, so we'll share a little bit about what's going on in a few moments here. As we start to tighten up some of the features. Got the darker purple. We're gonna go with a lighter purple here, just to find a new color. So working through these variety of faces and exploring different ways of making them with oil pastel and just trying out different colors. So exploration of color. I could just use pink for everything, like pretty much like this like pink color, and it'll probably look right, but I'm really exploring a different color choices. And at this point, it's almost like scary to actually use the fine quality as opposed to the artist quality ones, because you know that once you lay it down, they become a bit hard to work with. The surface becomes harder to work with. Let's keep. We'll use our pink to unify all of these colors together. And go with browns and yellows. So let's continue on here. We're going to go into the hair. And bring in our navy blue here. And while I'm not necessarily complete yet, I really like how this one's turning out with doing a variety of color choices here. I'm trying to figure out a good way to somewhat unite all of these colors. Good oil pastel for that. Like, what's a good color for that? Let's use silver. Maybe silver is the color that we're going to use to unite all of this. I feel like I might be too dependent on certain colors to like blend it all together. So let me see, maybe let me try some of these tools here. There's like try to wipe off some of this brush, clean it up. And then blend it and see what happens. Probably need to stump it, but anyway. Here we go. Let's do. Let's unify this with a color. Find a good color. What is it? It's a good color here. We'll go with. We'll go with this. What is this? An ochre? This is a type of ochre. Yeah, it's exactly ochre. There we go. So we're gonna go with an ochre to unify a lot of these colors here. Contemplating. I just don't feel like this is necessarily the right color, but I do need like a lighter color to put this all together. Let's go a little blue around the edge here. I want to clean the area around this eye. Let's use this color. And let's start to create some unifying areas. Okay. And let's go. That was a sigh of relief because I actually like this one, how this is actually turning out for this one. And, you know, I know there's like so many ways to do things. And, you know, there's somebody who will like and value just about any piece. But I think from an artist perspective, we definitely need to have our own ideas of how we want something to look. And if we don't necessarily do what we intended to do, what we set out to do, can we still call it a success even if someone else likes it? So, you know, of course there's the idea of being your harshest critic. You know, we all are our own harsh critics. But I think what that really comes down to is if other people like your work is one thing, that's you know, very important. But if we like our work, you know, if we accept our work as having done a good enough job on our own, I think that's the most important thing, right? So I feel like I'm starting to ruin it by trying to add all these different colors, or trying to blend with the white. So rather than that, I'm gonna go in again. I wanna, let's see, how do I do this without messing it up too much? Let's go in with a variety of colors here and just kind of push these areas. Use our blues. And here we are. Share a little bit about where we're at. So started with this piece right here. Honestly, these were just way too small to do anything with oil pastels unless you're going to use some super fine materials. Unless you're going to use like some super fine brushes that you're going to paint the oil pastels on with. So not too happy with these. Wasn't really able to capture little details, but I do think, you know, I think at this size with oil pastels, it really comes down to choice of color. So right here, wasn't able to do a good job on these. Knocked out this one. I'm actually happy with this face, using a bunch of different colors to, and by different colors, I mean not just necessarily the exact color, right? Like I probably could have just used this pink for this entire face and just gone with like brown for the hair, but I didn't really want to go with that idea. Went down here, tried to explore a bit, had to save it with my artist quality, because I started this with a base color of fine quality oil pastels. I don't like to say student grade, I just call them fine quality versus professional artist quality. And you know, the base layer really made it difficult to start doing work on top of it. But I was able to save it with some fine artist quality pastel, or professional artist quality pastels, because they're nice and soft. They come off easily on top. I don't think there's too much work I'm going to be able to do on top of this, since there's so much still underneath. I do like this top face though. And then this is a third one. I actually really like this piece. You know, the colors are very different. A lot of expression there. A lot of ideas into one, and I think this is really one that I can kind of build off of, or build around. So I'm gonna leave that as is. Actually, I do want to blend the cheeks a little bit, because they're kind of, there's too many marks. Let's see if we can blend this part of the face a bit. I don't know. I don't know if that really did. I don't know if that really did the job around the cheek, but yeah, I actually like how this face turned out. It's like such a variety of colors, capturing the idea really well. I like my own work, if I do say so myself. So let's go ahead and piece these pieces together by by adding color in between them. And let's see, I got a yellow touching a blue, so red, orange, yellow, green, blue. So let's join them with the green. Actually, you know what? Instead of joining them with a green, what's the opposite of green? It's red. So we're gonna join them with like a nice red. Let's join them with a nice red. So how did I come up with that color? I decided that, you know, green is between yellow and blue, right? So that makes sense. It would have been a blue. But I decided to go with the opposite color of that, as I felt that that would be appropriate. The opposite color of green would pretty much be red. And that would create like this, I don't know what effect it actually creates, but I think it helps it to helps to differentiate rather than just following the exact color wheel color, switching to its opposite color. And here we go, Judgment Day. Got two people watching right now. I think the red turned out pretty good. It really helped to solidify, you know, bring these pieces together. And we got the two blues down here at the bottom. Let's see, yellow with the blue. Yeah, I think we could just use this color and just kind of go around pretty much. I still want to do one more, at least one more portrait down at the bottom here. But here's what I'm really finding interesting about oil pastels is when you do finally get around to working around the pieces, you can really carve them out, and it has like this really it makes it for a very cohesive look. And I'll share what I mean in a moment here. Let me just finish getting these pieces together with the same color. All right, so what I was just talking about, having this like cohesive look, you know, posted a video, Blaze posted a video. Okay, cool. Is like when you start to paint around all of the different faces and stuff, you kind of see like the color of a pastel is really good at tying the pieces together when you use the right colors and create the separation. And even if you are to paint into it, kind of creates this like shadow around the head, which is really neat. I like that about oil pastels. But it can be harder to achieve on a specific surface that you're working on. Like if you try to do that on the face, you got to be very careful. So let's go there, and let's do one more for the night. We'll do one more of these for the night. So I'm gonna look for one more, and what I'm doing is I'm really just picking like random Facebook friends. Part of me says I should go like, hey, I should go find my. I should just pick celebrities because everybody will recognize celebrities and you get easy views. But I've decided to do something different. Just do friends. People that I know.
It is symbol of a Catholic miracle service. Because in her service, people come out of wheelchairs, whether they believe in miracles or not.
One thing get very clear, and that is that Catholic woman has nothing to do with these miracles.
So I've got my next person now, and I'm gonna start with some hair. And what I have to do is I actually have to make this image smaller, but it won't let me. So let's just come up with dimensions another way. Here we go. Oh, and we're still live. Someone just disconnected me there for a second, but it's okay. Let's see. We're gonna go around. Let's kind of sketch this. Let's use a light blue. See, what color do I want to use to sketch this face? I'm gonna go with like a purple. So let me find my lightest purple I could get, and we're gonna go around like so. I want to get like a pure color, so I'm trying to scrape off some of the other colors that have gotten onto here. I'm gonna go just around the lightest purple I could get. Let's see, that's about good right there, and a little separation right there. Come around for the cheeks. And one thing about women, drawing women, that I found that's very convenient is the fact that you can use hair and carve out their face. So like if you're like drawing, if you're working on drawing, or if you're working on painting a female person, or I guess anybody with long hair technically, if you're working on somebody with long hair, you always have the luxury of like later on using that same hair to like carve out the person.
Hello.
Hey, what's up?
When can I get my stool so I can do the kitty litter?
Give me like 30 minutes. 20 minutes.
I don't want to give it that long. I want to do the kitty litter now, and or soon.
All right, go grab my meditation stool.
Where is it?
It's where it usually is, inside in the bedroom in the corner of the desk. Huh? All right, so we're going to use the purples, light purples and blues to do this face. And actually, let's sketch out. Let's use some blues around this edge here. And
See. See.
And here we go. Working with our purples. So we're going to be working with the purple here. And this purple might be a little dark, but we can actually use this in a little bit. Should probably start with some lighter areas here. This head is still a little bit smaller than I'd want to be working with, but that's okay. We're going to stick with it and really stick with it and just keep pushing through with our our figure here. Let's go with a pink lips here. Really big smile, of course. Add some definitely give some brown eyelashes. So we're gonna go brown eyelash. Brown eyelash. And here we go. Go light blue around the face here, around the eyes. Some very thin eyes right now on this person. So that's what we got to capture. Challenge of capturing some very thin eyes. Because she's smiling, so her eyes are a bit so her eyes are a bit God, I can't stand these cigarette smells. Every like half hour. Freaking neighbors. Neighbors. Who needs neighbors? Really just want to push a variety of like purples into this. What? What's going on? What's happening? Cat.
Oh, you're talking to me?
Yeah.
What?
Keep huffing. What's wrong?
Oh, my phone keeps stopping. I'm trying to listen to Catherine Coleman's life story to prepare for my audition.
Well, does Catherine Coleman huff every 10 seconds?
I don't know. She's not alive for me to ask.
Well, do you think she would?
Probably. That's what people do when they get a little frustrated. Do you have a question for me?
That was the question. What's wrong? Keep huffing.
Well, why do you ask?
Because you keep huffing as if there's something wrong
Well,
with
I
your
know you don't
with your entire
really
life.
want to know.
Huh?
There's nothing you really want to know. You just don't want me to huff.
Right.
So just say, don't huff. But I can't really hear you because I have my headphones.
Okay.
You do your thing. I'll
Okay. All right. So here we are. This is probably one of the. I definitely think that there's a size minimum for doing portraits. There has to be a size minimum for doing portraits. Because if you do it too small, portraits don't work out. I don't think this one's gonna be too good. So two of them I'm at like a 40% ratio of good to not so good portraits with oil pastels. Pretty good, so I think that's a good ratio, huh? What do y'all think? Good old 40% is not too bad. And This is a funny portrait because it's like totally blue. Yeah, there's definitely a minimum size of where like minimum size of doing portraits for oil pastels if you're gonna use just a pure oil pastel by itself, because otherwise I think at minimum when I do a pastel it has to be about this size, because if you do it any smaller it just, you know, getting into the little details, you're just not doing justice with the portraits. But if you go a bit bigger, you can actually capture some of the detail. And let me see, there might be a little bit more I can do to this face. All right, so we're gonna leave it at that. Let's get our pastels back in order here. And let's see, pop these back into place. And here we go. So we're gonna start wrapping things up. Let me show final products here. And this is what we had. So started with this piece. Really wanted to try different colors on faces. Happiest with this one. Except I did mess up at the end there by trying to blend this section right here, which I probably should have just left out. But as far as a pastel study goes, really love the painterliness that you can achieve with oil pastels. Still trying to fine tune that idea, as well as, you know, really experimenting with a variety of colors and designs. But, you know, you need a minimum size if you're going to work with oil pastels, because otherwise the clunkiness of the pastel itself just does not lend to fine details. You know, this eye is like literally like 3 or 4 times the size. These two eyes on these two figures are 3 or 4 times the size, so you can just add a little bit more detail and you create more compelling look. Same thing with faces, like painting too as well. Like, you know, there's only so small a brush could get, and unless you're using super fine pen or fine point pencil or ballpoint, you know, it's really hard to get those fine details. So this is what we're working with for the evening. Just a quick oil pastel study, and favorite definitely this one, number 2, and then the rest I probably try to get a little too crazy with. But with that, I do like how the colors turned out, and those are some of my thoughts for the evening as far as oil pastels go. But to wrap up, I'll share some of the pieces that we use. So, I don't know if I should cover this because it has some oil pastel marks on the other page. So I might pull this out. And just as we wrap up, I'll share some of the oil pastels that we use, some of the tools of the trade. Aha, okay. So some of the tools that we got to use today. Obviously, Sennelier is, actually let's start with some of the fine quality ones. So this is a Cray-Pas brand. We'll close this up. Little end of the night review. This as well as our Van Gogh brand of oil pastels, definitely good if you want to cover large areas of space with a single color. So definitely really good if you want to color like large areas of space with some bright colors like this red space, some of the hair in here, things like that. But if you really want to get into fine details, they do not work very well, especially if you're going to be blending colors, because they tend to get really thick and they don't like, they kind of like, and it's also very hard. So these pastels are much harder, so you're kind of like scraping the colors around. As for the softest and the most oiliest that comes off just so smooth and gentle is the Sennelier brand. I mean, these are probably industry standard professional artist oil pastels, as well as they got some amazing colors here. So a lot of great colors, very unique colors that I think are very hard to achieve. So, you know, Sennelier, always top of the line brand. And of course, another brand that I found recently, I'll share this, is, I don't know why it's not closing right. Let's see. What's going on here? Okay. And then one final brand that I've been experimenting with is good old Paul Rubens brand. So let me close this up first before I try to show it. Otherwise, all the pieces are going to fall out. So this is actually a Chinese brand that makes this, a Chinese company. And I will say I am pretty happy with the quality of these 48 different colors. And I will say it's a great in-between. I will say these are pretty soft, even compared to the Sennelier brand. They feel pretty good when they come off just right. They're soft. I like the colors a lot. Big selection for a really good price for how they feel. But they definitely are somewhere between. I mean, closer to the softness of Sennelier, but not quite there. But much less hard, and they can work with other colors like on top of each other. They work better than these colors. So, you know, to each their own. You got to find the best quality materials for yourself, for what you need to do. If you're painting on huge canvases, for whatever reason, with oil pastel rather than paint, then, you know, you could probably get away with doing this, because you could capture so many details. And, you know, you could just really push colors together, and you need to cover large areas, you use these. But if you need some finer details, then these are definitely a go-to. The good old Paul Rubens. But if you really just want to splurge on oil pastels, of course, Sennelier, Paul Rubens are good choices. Other than that, those are a couple brands. Actually, you know what's funny is somebody ranked this brand, Cray-Pas, higher than some other brand I was looking at, but I was pretty surprised. These definitely fine quality, but you have to learn how to use them. Honestly, I think there's a bigger learning curve with student grade brands or fine quality brands compared to artist professional quality, because, you know, with the fine quality brands as opposed to the artist quality, professional quality, artist quality like Sennelier is, here, let me just show you on the paper. So what you have when you start to use some of the artist quality brands is you can really layer on top. So this portrait was actually saved by the Sennelier because the underneath it got really thick. So I needed a really gentle pastel to layer on top of it. Whereas if I had tried to use one of the fine quality pastels as opposed to the artist professional quality pastels, it would have just carved. I would have just kept continuing to carve, and it would just carved into this painting because the pastel has a hard time coming off. But as you can see, if you're just using it for spaces like this, you know, it's okay to kind of like push and pull the colors. But if you're going to be like layering on top and putting different colors on top of other colors, you really want the pastel to come off nice and easy. You don't want them to come off really rough. So, you know, that said, those are the things you got to work with. And sometimes it's nice to have the oil pastel to be like very thick and to kind of like carve into each other, because then you could create different textures and things like that. But it does make it somewhat difficult to work with. So that's that. This one I just couldn't take seriously. As soon as I started working with the blue, I was like, it's really hard to make a face that's blue, which is why Pablo Picasso is so darn brilliant. He had an entire blue area where everything he painted was pretty much blue. And the fact that he was able to create human beings that look wonderfully blue is quite the skill. And of course, you know, basically what he was doing was just using the single color blue and using every shade of blue from almost black blue to white blue. And, you know, different value exercises, that's one thing. Whereas, you know, when you try to mix all these different colors, you know, you got to be very careful. But as far as that goes, a lot of things learned. And you get a little crazy. So with that, thank you for watching. Thanks for tuning in. And hope to see you again. Have a great day.